to an in-pencil music video. I'm Adam.
I am Jess. This is not an actual music video, as most people would call a music video.
No, that's not what I meant. You know what I meant. All right,
It's a video about music.
Yes, let's not nuke this, okay? Yeah, okay. So, in recognition or celebration or just sort of capitalizing off of the fact that Eminem is being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame tonight, I thought that it'd be a good idea if we did a ranking video on all of Eminem's albums. And we're not just talking about his normal, canon discography. We're also including a little more obscure releases like D12's underground stuff and some of the albums, and then the Bad Meets Evil album, and then some of the compilation albums like Re-Up and Shitty 15.
Yes.
I had the urge to throw in like some of the mixtapes and more popular bootleg albums that or bootleg like EPs and stuff, like Straight from the Vault and Straight from the Lab, but I thought that might be a little too obscure and probably would be unfair to the entire ranking if I did that. But just know I'm aware of them, and most of them are pretty good. So anything you want to add before we get started?
I am now aware of them. So my Eminem knowledge is not great. So this is going to be an Adam-led one, as many of our tiers are. The last one he did was on Blink-182. We did on this was on Blink-182, and Adam did that by himself. Himself. That's not a word. Himself. Because I have very little knowledge on Blink-182, but this time I have some knowledge, more than one album's worth of knowledge.
Yeah.
I have 2 albums worth of knowledge.
Okay, well, then I'll just start. I want to spare like any of the verbiage of adoration for Eminem and his work and his history and his impact on me, and just to save some time on that and to get straight into the ranking. I've been listening to Eminem since I was in 8th grade when the Slim Shady LP came out until now. Jess has been listening to Eminem since 8th grade, and then until 10th grade, more or less, right?
Yeah, I kind of got out of Eminem after. Well, we'll just say I bought the Walmart version of the Slim Shady LP, which is an edited version. If you didn't know, I don't know if Walmart still does that. I actually haven't bought a CD.
No, they sell explicit music.
Oh, they
now.
do.
Yeah.
So back in the 90s, back in the olden days, in the ancient history, Walmart did not sell explicit content. So the Slim Shady LP was edited, and I bought that, and then eventually I bought the unedited version. Then I bought the Marshall Mathers LP, and then I kind of got out of Eminem.
Yeah,
I did buy the Chronic 2001, mostly because Eminem was on there, and that seems very wrong. So that shows you my rap knowledge, that I bought the Chronic 2001 for Eminem and not for anyone else that was on that album.
He's on a few songs. He's on Forgot About Dre and What's the Difference, and he has a uncredited hook on The Watcher. But anyway, let's just get into the ranking here. All right, we'll start with Infinite.
That was an album that existed.
It was. It was his underground sort of debut, I suppose. Production from Mr. Porter and Proof had a lot to do with it. Proof and D12 had a lot to do with it. I've always, some people really adore this because, it's like a very niche, I guess it used to be a niche release for Eminem. But for me, it just showed a lot of potential, but it didn't really capture like the spirit of what Eminem was to become. And its sort of lack of attention, I think, led to the creation of further releases in his Slim Shady persona. So I'm putting it there at B. I don't know if you have any comments on that or not.
It is an album. You can tell it's very underground because it has a very boring cover to it. You can also tell. We should talk about these album covers, I think,
Oh
and
yeah.
how un-90s rap they look. I don't know if y'all remember what 90s rap albums look like. They looked like someone got into word art and took a photo of the rapper and just put a bunch of word art all around it. They were aesthetic. Now, I'm not saying they were bad. They weren't bad. They were what they were supposed to be. But Eminem has never done that type of album cover, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Just by looking at these. And some of these are very artistic, like we'll get into those later. But this one is not. This one's pretty basic, plain, and cheap probably on the ink.
Yeah. I did acquire a physical re-release of this. I don't know if it was official. Like sometimes they would do like official re-releases in Europe or whatever, or if it was official. Either way, it's a really good, I guess, bootleg or whatever.
Where can you get this album right now?
No, good luck.
Where can
Maybe
you
on
hear
eBay.
this? Where can you hear this album right now?
Probably just YouTube. Honestly, I don't think there's. They did release the song Infinite, like a bit of a remix to it a few years ago, and that song is on like streaming services, but the rest of the album is kind of hard to find. It's on YouTube, but finding like an actual like cohesive copy of it is rather difficult. But yeah, I give it. I've always liked listening to it. The quality of production is or the mixing rather is a little lacking. It definitely sounds like something that's like a brand new underground release from people who probably don't really understand exactly what they're doing yet. A lot of the songs are very like sort of emotional. Like there's a song called Searching, which is basically like a love song, and then there's It's Okay, which has like kind of really positive message for an early Eminem song. And then there's 313. I could go over all the songs, but I'll just say that like it's good. All right, so it's good. We'll go to the sake of time. We'll go to the Slim Shady EP. This is the release that found its way into Dr. Dre's hands and caused him to sign Eminem.
Yeah.
And I've always really liked this EP. There are a few songs on it that never made it onto the Slim Shady LP. Some of the songs did get remixed for the Slim Shady LP, but some of them never made it. There's a song called No One's Iller, which features like other members of D12, which is pretty good. And then there's Low Down and Dirty, which is like the opening track after like the opening skit, which basically is an audio version of the cover where Eminem is breaking the mirror, or Slim Shady is breaking the mirror and destroying himself. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
All I was gonna say is like you most likely, for those of you who are Eminem fans who are maybe more casual Eminem fans, you've heard a lot of this album or this EP. You've heard the parts that got famous, most likely. You haven't heard all of it, but if you're a casual fan, you don't have to hear all of it.
Yeah. They also did rare European re-releases of this. Again, I don't know if they were official or unofficial, but I do have copies of it.
We need to see your Eminem library.
Yeah, I should do that at some point, but it's extensive, unfortunately.
Yeah, we have a few libraries that we could do that would be pretty awesome to see, just like the random stuff we've gotten. And your Eminem library is pretty interesting.
Yeah. So another sort of underground, literally the underground EP release he did with D12, right around the same time as Some Shady EP. This was just when D12 was starting to get started. I believe Bugs, before he passed away, was still involved in this project. The underground EP D12, decent, but honestly not a lot of memorable tracks on it. It sounds like an early D12 project. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, to be honest. It exists and it's decent. I think Eminem only appears on like 3 or 4 songs though, which is good because D12 is supposed to be. It was always meant to be a standalone group. It wasn't meant to be Eminem's group. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that was his band.
It was his band.
Nobody knew the name of that band.
We'll talk about that later, I think.
We don't talk about Bruno. I was gonna say something else and I blanked. Oh boy. Anyway, so now we finally get to an album I do know about, as stated before.
Well, I'll let you open your thoughts about the Slim Shady LP and tell me where you think I should put it.
So compared to the other albums, I have no clue.
Okay.
I will say, so a few things is where it's good, and where it's eh. But a lot of rap albums are like that. I would say A or B. It's not an S tier, I don't think. He hadn't really developed. What do you think, Adam?
I think it's...
you think it's S? Okay.
I think it's S tier, honestly, but I kind of want to put it in the middle.
Right there? Can you do that? Oh wait, you made this up yourself, didn't you? This is
it's our thing. Yeah, we can do whatever the fuck we want. I can say fuck because it's Eminem. So
you can put it on S tier. This is mostly Adam's. This is your ranking against yourself. I'm just going to give my thoughts because I can't rank all these, and we're ranking. So, what I will say about this album, if we just go by artwork alone, it is an S+ tier. This is just one of the most beautiful album covers I think I've ever seen. Not what you expect from a rap album cover.
Yeah.
More of what you expect from a neo-noir murder mystery, because there's someone in the trunk. But I just always thought this was such a good art. That's all I'm going to go with. I didn't really have much.
I mean, your work is great. It comes from the song 97 Bunny and Clyde, which is kind of a slightly remixed version of Just the Two of Us from the Slim Shady EP.
Which has a prequel that...
yeah, we'll talk about in a minute.
We'll talk about if you bought Walmart version of the next album, you do not get said prequel.
True. But Slim Shady LP... I don't know. What was your favorite track on Slim Shady LP?
Oh shoot! Now I'm gonna have to get my phone out because I have to remember. You think I would have done research on this beforehand? But you know what? Eminem. So I'm looking this up. Adam, did you know that if you say "my name is" backwards, do you know what it says? Like if you say "my name is," record it and then play it backwards, what you hear?
No, if you play the record backwards, right?
Yeah, if you just play, if you put it backwards, my name is backwards.
It says Eminem, like 1,000 people have made TikToks about it. It says Eminem.
Yeah, it says it's Eminem. Right. Have people made? I'm not on Eminem Talk or M Talk. What is that called? Like everyone, you got like Book Talk. You've got like.
No, I think M Talk is perfectly acceptable.
M Talk. Okay, let's look at these songs. Now, granted, a lot of this stuff doesn't really. Some of these songs don't hold up, and like they seem ugh. Now, like Guilty Conscience, doesn't really hold up in.
You mean like as far as like acceptable like subject matter for now? Yeah.
And I think I was watching a comedian the other day, watching a comedian special, and just saying like at the time the things I said were acceptable, they're not acceptable now. I won't say them now, but I also need to acknowledge that at the time they were, and I said them, and that's okay. So at the time, what he did was acceptable in a lot of this, but now you don't want to go into it in 2022 mindset listening to this album and think, oh, this is great. You'll have to go into it in like 1999 mindset. It was a different time.
Well, I mean, with any Eminem project, you have to understand that it's Eminem, and this is where it all started. And most of the topics have been reused and recycled, and the controversial lyrics never really went away. He toned it down a little bit over the years, but I mean, Eminem is Eminem. If you're gonna listen to Eminem, you have to expect to be subjected to that sort of subject matter. So yeah.
And I mean, it's not like he was the only one. Tupac had a lot of great things about love for like women, and then he also said a lot of horrible things about women on the same album. It's very strange times, the 90s, and it's always like you don't make sense with yourself. But let's see, I think I want to be honest, like one of my favorite songs of his on this album is Rock Bottom. It wasn't a single, it wasn't super famous, I don't know, maybe it was, but it was just a very good, to me it was a very fun song.
I like Rock Bottom, and I like If I Had, and I like Still Don't Give a Fuck, and
If I Had was really good too.
I think the one song I didn't like was Come On Everybody. I never really got into that song.
It's a dance song.
Is it?
Yeah, if you ever listen, it's a dance song. It's weird. It's not what you expect from Eminem.
I don't think it's a real. I think it's a parody, or yeah. But
I mean, how it's spelled gives a lot away that this is not. None of this album. I think none of this album is really to be taken serious. And what I've always liked
that's
about
kind of the point, to be honest.
Yeah. What I like about Eminem, and what I grew to like, and why Marshall Mathers LP next had I liked a lot of it, was because I like the more serious stuff he talked about. I felt like he's such a good serious rapper that as I grew up, I wanted more serious stuff. I was growing into a phase where I was going into that emo phase, and emo doesn't want jokes. Emo wants serious.
So what about the Marshall Mathers LP did you like?
Marshall Mathers,
definitely it was.
Yeah, obviously everything but the real Slim Shady. That's a joke, but that's kind of like the idea of like he always had to have that "My Name Is" song for so long.
Even Drug Ballad or Under the Influence.
I'm trying to find the titles. So weird. This is my weird story. When I was in high school, whenever this came out, I can't remember. I've always. Okay, so I was like 16, 17, 15, somewhere around that age. I listened to this album in my house. And so in my house, I lived upstairs.
Yep.
In a room.
Yep.
Sorry. I would have it, my headphones on. I'd have the CD in my CD player. I had the CD player. Man, I love that thing. And I'd play with Legos a lot. It was just what I did. It was kind of like I was very anxious as a teenager, and just playing mindlessly, kind of building stuff with Legos really helped a lot with that anxiety. And I would listen to this album in my headphones. And this is the only album that I ever just almost exclusively listened with headphones on. Every other album I've listened without headphones, or, in the car, whatever. Right. And so I have these great memories of doing that. And I remember the first time like Kill You came on, which Kill You is not my favorite, but it was like, oh, this is a different tone. Right. It felt very different than the previous album. And Stan is great. I think Stan is, everybody knows Stan. If you don't know Stan, you know the term Stan.
Right.
But Amityville, for some reason, I really thought Amityville was so fun.
Yeah, Amityville's completely underrated, and Bizarre is completely underrated on that song. The Outsiders were supposed to be on Amityville, but their verses got cut, which caused a very long-standing sort of conflict between Eminem and the Outsiders. You'd have to know the history of Eminem's relationship with the Outsiders, or another rap group. They had Young Z and Pace One, and what was her name? Can't remember the girl's name, but anyway, yeah. So anyway, Stan is probably one of the best songs ever written in any genre. So that alone, I always liked Who Knew on this one, because Who Knew was like very aware, and like very poking fun at people who were overreacting to Eminem's music. Especially parents.
This was interesting. So in the 80s you had the satanic panic.
Yeah.
In the 90s there was the rap panic. Notice this is like suburban white families. They're having these problems because in the 80s rap hadn't come to the suburbs quite yet as much as it had, thanks to like, well, let's face it, Will Smith is one of the people that helped bring it to the suburbs.
Yeah.
But Eminem really brought it to the suburbs and to the country in ways that other people hadn't before. And so there was a lot of music panic going on, and there were a lot of other things. There was just the late 90s. They talked about like the pent up rage that was going on.
Yeah, with like the new metal and like Korn and Limp Bizkit and Marilyn Manson
and so everybody we were trying to generation trying to define itself, and and the thing about generations is you don't get to define yourself, and we didn't know that in 2001 our generation would be defined with September 11th would really define the millennial generation. Not as kids but as adults, because the fallout from that being in a 20-year war and then wild economic rides that we've had over the past 20 years really have defined who we have been as a generation. But until then, we were trying to figure ourselves out. And people like Eminem came along, people like Korn came along, and this was what was there. And it was very big. And
well, it was different. It was groundbreaking. It was unique. It was it changed the entire landscape of music and the entire realm of acceptability, because now you have bands that we've never gotten away with swearing or saying the things they were saying on records. Now all of a sudden became a lot more acceptable. And even now, the fact that you have people like Taylor Swift dropping F-bombs on records, that stuff would have never happened 20 years ago. So
it was all it was revolutionary, like rap and rock.
So in a way, this album was kind of a turning point, and I think it desensitized a lot of people to really coarse and foul subject matter and language, and it was done so in a way that was meant to it was meant to be like thought-provoking and think about what you find offensive, but instead it was inherently offensive on its own terms, more or less.
Like Stan gets into fandom.
That was The Way I Am.
The Way I Am, which one you said? I'm Back gets into, I think you did say this, I'm Back gets into the problem, like, who's responsible for the kids?
Right.
Who's responsible for the kids, the way kids are? And now I know, like, it's not just the parents, it's not just the media, it literally, it takes a village. Back then, we were all like, it's the parents' fault. Well, it's a little bit of everyone that is responsible for turning people like they are, but it's not just one person. And Eminem's like, you're the one, they're listening. I'm not telling them what to do. Because Eminem never said, do this.
Right. Even in Role Model, he said literally, don't do this.
I think it's very important that even as tongue-in-cheek as he was, which sarcasm is hard to pick up on a lot of times, and you have to be very careful. But even as he used a lot of sarcasm, he never made it look like this was the good thing. Like, even Drug Ballet does not make drugs look good.
No, it's not glorifying.
None of this is glorifying this lifestyle. The whole Slim Shady persona is never glorified, I don't think.
Yeah. And then there's Kim, which is the prequel we were talking about earlier.
Yes. So I just dropped. Oh no, my headphones came out. So
that's staying in.
What the heck? That's weird.
That's what happens whenever you listen to Kim. Is your headphones just automatically
pop out
your head.
So by this point, I realized don't buy CDs at Walmart. But because I did not buy this CD at Walmart, remember CDs back to the day were like $16, weren't they? They were expensive.
Have you looked at them recently? Because they're back to that price.
Holy cow! Who wants to? I mean, I guess it's just for the collectors at this point.
Yep.
I buy a CD like once every 3 years, an actual physical CD that because I just don't. I don't need them. Don't want them. Digital's easier.
Okay, but Kim.
But Kim. Anyway, so I heard the song Kim. But if you bought the edited version of this album, do they still make edited versions of albums? Is that still a thing?
I believe so, but I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah, but if you bought the edited version, you got the Kids, an edited version of the Kids, which is a South Park parody. It's hilarious. But Kim,
Well,
what do you have to say about Kim?
Kim is. I always felt like Kim and 97 Bonnie and Clyde, they seemed fun about, oh, look, making fun of death. In hindsight, if we look at this in hindsight, this is literally a autobiographical story of his relationship with his ex and his child in ways that I never expected. Like, really? Don't you think so? Or am I overlooking at this? Like, their relationship, they just did not get along, and it felt like he, quote unquote, killed her. And then he ran off with his daughter as he was trying to leave her behind.
I mean, metaphorically speaking.
Yes. Yeah, metaphorically. Like this is probably a very autobiographical Kim into 97 Bonnie and Clyde, or Kim into just the two of us, depending on how you want to listen to that. Or
it's the same song. So
yeah. Some people are purists. They're like, it's just the two of us is the original. 97 Bonnie and Clyde is the new one because they wanted to change the name so that it didn't sound like the Will Smith song, which was
that's exactly the story.
Technically, just a redone version of a 70s song that I've just blanked on who sang, but you know. So it's very autobiographical, and in hindsight, it's very sad because we've unfortunately got to see a lot of that, the public drama of their relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know about how she's doing. I don't know whatever happened after they divorced.
Yeah, I think they just gave up on like publicly like blasting it out everywhere.
And I think that's for the best, probably. I don't think. I mean, all this started when he wasn't very public. So, you know, it got started in a way that I don't think he ever expected all this info to get out there.
Yeah.
Because you don't know when you're just talking about yourself and you're selling 100 CDs, you're not expecting everyone to know your dirty laundry. And then suddenly everyone knows your dirty laundry. Yeah, I don't have any.
All right. We'll move on to we have like a lot to get through. So
yeah, that is at this point, Jessica is going to go do other things apparently because she has no other insight to provide.
All right, we will expedite the rest of this, but let me go ahead and I'll just say what I need to about Devil's Night. Devil's Night was the first D12 album.
There were more?
There was one more called D12 World.
Wait, which one had purple pills on it?
That was Devil's Night.
Okay.
Devil's Night had purple pills, and which was like the next My Name Is for D12. Really quirky song. Same with My Band, which we'll talk about later. But it also had Fight Music, which if you remember the music video for Fight Music, it was like all the sort of social outcasts from like society, like the freaks and the geeks and the nerds and the gangbangers. Like everybody was getting together and they were rioting, and Ice-T was like rallying them up and everything. Anyway, it was awesome music video. But yeah, every song on this album is fantastic. I have nothing negative to say about this album. There are some lyrics that are, especially by Bizarre, that are, well, bizarre, but I mean, that's part of the game. We'll skip forward to the Eminem Show here real quick. Eminem Show, S tier. Do you have anything to say about the Eminem Show?
Let me look at what I've got on the Eminem Show.
So I had Clean Out My Closet, which Eminem doesn't like to perform anymore because he cringes at it.
I think the story behind Cleaning Out My Closet is a very good story of just like having a terrible relationship with your mother.
Yeah.
Airing it all out, and then as you got older, you realized this ain't it, and just turning back around. So I think that shows the maturity that he's had over the years. That he's like, no, I'm going to censor myself.
Yeah.
Because I have grown.
Yeah, and we see that later on too, which we'll talk about. But
yeah, there's a lot of him showing that he's grown.
Yeah.
I mean, you got "Sing for the Moment." I just remember that was such a cool version of "Dream On." I thought that he did.
And they actually got members of Aerosmith to play on that song too. So yeah, you can do that. Why are you moving it? Where are you moving it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just seeing if I could move it.
You can move it.
Oh, I'm like on a delay here, so I can't figure out what's going on.
Just put it back where it belongs in the S tier.
You S tier. How many albums are on this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 albums, and you have 30% so far S tiered, and we have not even gone through 10 albums.
Don't worry, that's pretty much the cap of the S tier. There may be a few more, but not many.
To me, only the Marshall Mathers LP is the S tier, but
yeah. The only
one I really listen to a lot.
I think the only song on here that I could probably do without is "Say What You Say," which is like a Jermaine Dupri disc with Dr. Dre, and Timbaland produced it. It feels out of place, and I don't really like the beat that much. No, I take that back. The other one I really don't like is "Drips." Drips is exclusively about STDs with Obi Trice, and it's terrible. So maybe I'll move it down just because of those two. No, it's fine. With the album, but they're just disgusting songs. But yeah.
So I'm gonna hot take here. Diss tracks should not go on full albums.
Okay. Well, I mean, Marshall Mathers LP had the song Marshall Mathers, which included and it had a little skit. The King Kniff skit for ICP. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I don't even know what that was.
We don't want to talk about it.
Those skits are terrible.
Yeah.
Eminem has never had one good. The only good skit I will say, there was one skit I liked, and that was the intro to "Without Me." That was just about telling what started "Without Me." So I'll give it that. That's kind of like
talking about The Way I Am.
Yep. I said "Without Me." I meant "The Way I Am." Thank you for picking up on that, because
that's the Steve Berman skit. Yeah.
And just so that'll be the only skit that I'm gonna mention.
All right, we're gonna put encore.
Apparently Adam did not want an encore.
No. Well, I wanted an encore. Actually, maybe I'm being a little harsh. All right.
Let's see. It does have some really good songs. Okay, so let's go through the singles. Okay. We have "Just Lose It," which is a terrible song. I'm just gonna be honest here. I don't like "Just Lose It." We have "Mosh." I kind of liked Mosh. It was his first. I don't know if it was his first really political one, but it was a very political one.
Well, White America was kind of political too, but yeah.
I don't even know what White America. Maybe I did.
It was the opening track to the Eminem show.
Oh well, I didn't really listen to the Eminem show. Let's see, "Encore." I don't even remember what "Encore" is. I don't even remember that song.
Encore, that's Dr. Dre and 50 Cent, and then there was
"Like Toy Soldiers" was the next one, which I really liked. "Like Toy Soldiers."
It's amazing, which is about diss tracks and about like the violence and rap music. Yeah,
the fallout of them that gets it, and it's a really good version of. Is the song called "Toy Soldiers"?
Yeah.
Okay, and then "Mockingbird." I loved "Mockingbird." I always thought that was such a good one. It has that very Eminem ending, and then "Ass Like That."
Terrible.
Do I remember this song?
It is terrible. "Ass Like That." Was it "My First Single"? "Puke." Those are just terrible. They bring the album down.
I don't even know what these are.
Yeah. So, all right, we're moving on. We got so much to do. All right, D12 World. I'm gonna put D12 World in the B tier. This one is the one with my band, and it also had Loyalty was on here. There was God, a lot of my favorite. The Good Die Young. Good Die Young is about bugs, but it was appropriate because Proof had a verse on Good Die Young, and then Proof himself died like 2 years later.
I will be right back. Sorry.
Okay.
I have to go do something. Talking. So Adam will keep talking while and you can talk until for the next two albums without me. Because I don't know re-up either.
I'll just pause. Anyway, so D12 World. this was one of the albums where Eminem like took a step back. So D12 had a lot of basically every song on the Devil's Night album had Eminem on it. This album, D12 World, had a lot less Eminem, which was good because it helped the group kind of stand out a little bit. And it had Proof Not Died that probably would have progressed into the D12 probably would have progressed into a group that had even less Eminem involvement over the years, which still turned out to be true a little bit because they did release like the Return of the Dozen mixtapes and the Devil's Night mixtape later on that featured very little, if any, Eminem. They may have had 2 songs collectively that had Eminem on them. So this was sort of what would have been leading more towards that direction. But as it is, I think it's a B tier album. And that's all I have to say about that. Okay. What do you think? All right.
I don't remember that album at all. So
okay, next we'll go with the re-up. The re-up was like an official mixtape.
So we're not going to count Curtain Call? Curtain Call means nothing to you?
No, Curtain Call is just a greatest hits album. Okay, of course the Curtain Call is going to do well because it's a greatest hits album, but it's not, for the purposes of this. I don't really know why I put re-up on here, but I'm going to put it in the B tier. It's a pretty decent mixtape. It's got a lot of really cool like features, and it's got the Akon Smack That remix on it, and it's got You Don't Know with it was kind of, it's a shame that like a lot of the artists that are on this mixtape, like Stat Quo and most of D12 and Obi Trice and Bobby Creekwater, a lot of the shady artists never really did anything else after this. It was like a snapshot of what could have been, and then because of all the drug use and Eminem's like sort of lack of focus on his own label, nothing really manifested. So it's unfortunate. But still, as a body of work, it's probably B tier in my opinion. Relapse.
Yeah, I got it.
What's that?
Got it.
Are you doing something?
I'm going to take.
Where are you moving it? Where are you moving it?
Oh crap! I lost it. There it goes. Hold on. Do I have it? Okay. Okay. Here we go.
Okay, I don't have it F tier. Okay, so I need that. Actually, need that back if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. I still need that. Hold on. Don't bring in my window. Hang on. Let go. Stop. We're sharing the screen here. All right, let me grab that back. Okay. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. It has some good songs on it, but it's
got the one thing I will say about it is it's consistent pretty much all the way through, and it's really overly criticized, I think. There are some, I remember when I first heard it, I was listening to it in the car when it first came out, and I was like, I hope this isn't what Eminem is now, but then the more I listened to it, the more I adapted to it, and I'm like, okay, it's actually pretty decent. Underground is really good, and Beautiful is also one of the most amazing Eminem songs ever written. So go ahead.
This album is definitely when did this album come out?
2009. Yeah.
So this album is, I feel like it has his it's him coming off drugs basically, and so he wasn't in the right mindset probably. So the problems on this album, the issues, is him, I think, trying to find himself again, right?
Yeah, he had to basically relearn how to rap again, and this is him doing that. And he didn't intentionally like go for the accents, but they just manifested themselves simply by the fact that he's relearning how to rap, and he kind of forgot that the accents are annoying. But
yeah, and I mean that at the time I was like, well, this is just junk. What's wrong with this? And I didn't realize all the personal stuff that was going on and that would happen behind this off. So Proof died like a few years before this album came out, right?
Yeah.
And that was a big hit for him. And then the drug use, and then getting off drugs.
Yeah. So he was gonna do a relapse too, but he wound up doing recovery instead. So instead they put out a bonus edition, which had like a whole extra, like almost basically another EP attached to it. So this the one I'm moving around here is representative of the bonus disc, but I'm also going to put it in the B tier. I just wanted to mention it briefly because I feel like it stands in its own body of work. The bonus tracks from Relapse that were carried over, like Careful What You Wish For and My Darling, those are masterpiece songs, like absolute masterpiece. There's no accent on them. It's just normal, like if you listen to them, but it's him like battling with his demons. So they're very poignant and thought-provoking. Yeah, excellent songs. And then there's other songs like Music Box, which is awesome, and then the Forever, the Drake, Kanye West, Lil Wayne, and Eminem song Forever, which is from one of the what is it, More Than the Game soundtrack. They threw that on there, and so yeah, as its own body of work, I think it also deserves to be highlighted, I guess. But I think it's still B tier. So
yeah, it's okay. Just not. I don't know anything about it. So.
Right. We're gonna throw Recovery right up here in the A tier where it belongs.
So I do know a little about Recovery, and this is what I know about Recovery. After I heard Relapse, and I heard it in the car, I think I was with you or Donnie.
Yeah.
I don't remember who I was in the car, maybe both. When someone playing it as we were driving probably to the mall, because that's what kids did. I think we're adults by that point.
We weren't kids. This was 2010.
We're adults.
Okay.
Anyway, so I heard it, and I remember thinking, that's trash. That's the first thought I had when I heard it. And then when I heard like Recovery, I was like, oh yeah, this is better because Not Afraid, and I think he actually made Not Afraid to be his what's it called, Lose Yourself Part 2, right?
Yeah, kind of, I guess you could say that. Yeah,
it's the most like, it is a very good universal song that people know, and we're not even talking about Lose Yourself on here, which I think is just unfortunate because it's not on any of his main albums.
It is on here, so we can highlight it on here.
Okay, cool. We'll get to Lose Yourself then.
All right.
Which is strange. It's like him showing up at the Oscars 20 years later. But I think this album, and then Love the Way You Lie, some people say this is a bad song because it promotes domestic violence, and I'm like, did y'all listen to the song?
I would have to disagree with that. I think no.
I'm like, it's one of those things where like you can really get, people assume Eminem is being serious and promoting this stuff, and we talked about it before. He's not promoting the bad stuff. He's telling you this is the bad stuff. It looks cool, maybe, but it's not cool because at the end of the day, it sucks.
Like, did you watch the music video for this song? Yeah.
It does have like one of the worst lines of all time in an Eminem song, and that's. But hey,
Yeah.
But that's not why they call it Window Pane.
Not Afraid. Oh yeah, okay. I was trying to think what you were talking about. I didn't want to say it because I was like, I don't want to sound stupid. I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay.
Oh, that's.
But Not Afraid has a quadruple entendre in it, so that's really cool too. Yeah. The only things about this album that I don't like are Cinderella Man. I've always hated Cinderella Man, and Cold Wind Blows is pretty annoying as well. If you remember the chorus to that. Where he's like, I don't want to sing it. Just if you listen to Cold Wind Blows, the chorus is just really freaking annoying. But yeah, we're almost an hour in, and we're almost about 2/3 of the way done. So let's finish up here.
Part 1 of 2.
No, we're not gonna break it up. Stans will just sit and listen to this. They don't care. All right.
Oh god, I'm still here with them.
Bad Meets Evil. Hell the sequel. A tier EP. It really makes me want to have more Eminem Royce da 5'9", honestly. It's a shame they haven't followed up with this or anything.
Yeah. Hey, and let's give them credit that they named it Hell the Sequel.
Because it comes from the Bad Meets Evil song on the Slim Shady LP, See You in Hell for the Sequel, which most people don't understand the reference if they're not really within the Eminem universe. So.
Yeah. When I first heard that, I was like, seriously? They actually did the callback? to the line. I mean, that is commitment because they didn't have to.
It's truly great.
Did not have to, and they did, and I love it.
Yeah. I'm glad you pointed that. It's truly great.
It's A-class Easter egg.
Yeah. I forgot to mention, part of Recovery and Bad Meets Evil, this was around the time that Eminem was signing Slaughterhouse to Shady. So there's a bonus song called Session 1 on Recovery with Slaughterhouse that is amazing. And then there's a song on the Hella sequel with Slaughterhouse called Loud Noises, which is also amazing. But they're both bonus tracks, so some people may not see them, which is why, if you notice the cover, I chose the deluxe edition, which features the bonus tracks. And also has a song called Echo, which is also a bonus track, featuring Liz Rodriguez from the New Royals, and it's awesome. I don't know what to say. All right, let's move on to the Marshall Mathers LP2. Where did this go?
I was like, are you doing it? Are you S-tiering?
I'm actually not sure about this one.
Let's talk about it a little bit. We've got it.
All right, we'll put it right here.
Let's see what Adam. I don't know this again. I don't know all these albums that well. I haven't listened to them all the way through, but I do know some of this stuff. So let's talk about some of the songs. Like, first of all, some of the singles. I'm not going to go in order. I'm just going to go. Let's go to Rap God. Oh my goodness, how
one of the best songs ever. Again, another one of the best songs ever written.
Yeah, it's just wild. I'm like, huh? How did you do that?
Berserk. Which is Rick Rubin produced BC Boys ish throwback. Although that also has some pretty corny lines on it as well.
I mean, yeah. Some.
Then you got Survival was also a single off of it.
Yeah, and then Headlights, which is the reference to his mom, right? The song's
it's kind of like a follow-up to Cleaning Out My Closet, and it features Nate, whatever his name is from Fun.
Nate Roos.
Yeah.
Right? I think. Yep. I really like that song. I really like I like Fun, the band, and also just the activity.
Yeah, the just general concept of fun.
Yeah, I like fun. But these are like, I remember the first time hearing Rap God, I was like, how do you do that without taking a breath?
But the opening song to this, I think is it Evil Twin? I'm not looking at the track list right now. I think it's Evil Twin.
I'm trying to get to the track list.
Yeah, My goodness. Pull it up real quick.
It is Bad Guy is the track.
No, that's song. Right. Bad Guy is the opening. Evil Twin is the closing, right?
Getting Evil Twin is the closing.
Yeah. Fucking genius. Absolutely genius. The whole the fact that it's basically Bad Guy is basically a sequel to Stan, and it's part of it's told from Matthew Mitchell's perspective, from Stan's had you signed my brother's starter cap or whatever, I don't remember the lyrics, but yeah. And then Evil Twin, it's genius. That's one of the two times where the opening and closer are just perfect. So actually, you know what? The only thing that detracts from this for me is Stronger Than I Was, which is his only singing song. So I'm gonna put this up here in the S tier.
We have another S tier. We have officially.
Now that I think about it a little further, it's pretty amazing.
We're at 1/4 of all songs, and we still have 5 to go. So we can get to. Excuse me, we're at 1/5 of all songs, and we still have 5 songs to go. So we could get to 1/4.
You mean albums, right? No songs.
Yeah, albums. Sorry. Okay, so that's the Marshall Mathers LP2. Waiting for the Marshall Mathers LP7.
Even the bonus tracks on this album are pretty awesome. Like Wicked Ways, which features Ex Ambassadors, and then there's another one, Beautiful something. Beautiful something. Anyway.
How do you want me to look it up?
Yeah.
As we're talking about the next, getting on the next one. Beautiful. My goodness, do they tell me everything about this album, but who was on it?
Beautiful Pain with Sia. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, Shady 15. Another compilation album. This one a little shorter, but I'm for the purpose of this, I'm only really like grading the new stuff that came on it. This is the compilation. The first disc is all new, or new for the time, and then the second half is all like Shady Records greatest hits. It's celebrating like the 15th anniversary of Shady Records from like 2014, I think. So I think no. As
is it going to S? Is it going to
no,
S?
it's not going to S. It's not going to S. But I'm thinking about it. Let me talk about it for a second.
Okay,
So
I know
this one
nothing about
had.
this.
All right. It had. I'm trying to think of the track list. Psychopath Killer, which was like 2 members of Slaughterhouse, Yellow Wolf, and Eminem. Twisted was Skylar Grey and Yellow Wolf and Eminem, which is way underrated and probably extremely underrated. Skylar Grey in general, her participation in Eminem songs is underrated. A lot of people are really annoyed by her. I like her. I buy her solo albums too. I like her a lot. Her voice is beautiful, and her subject matter is like a lot different from what normal pop stars write about. So, and her lyricism is pretty good too. Guts Over Fear is on here, which is the only thing I like about Guts Over Fear is that it sounds a lot like the other song that he did with Gwen Stefani on the Southpaw soundtrack. They just sound very similar to me, so I can't really distinguish one from the other a lot. But then this one has Detroit versus Everybody, which was kind of like a movement, more or less, like a Detroit hip hop movement. Like the remix of it that never like saw a lot of, maybe not, didn't really see the light of day, but you can find it on YouTube, has like 100 rappers from Detroit on it. So it was like Detroit versus Everybody was like a full-on movement. This version had Big Sean, who had a great verse, Danny Brown, who I can't stand, and then a few other people on it, and Eminem, of course. Royce was on it, of course. But I think I'm gonna put Shady 15 in the B tier as well. No, it's not S tier. It's not S tier. I'm sorry. It's not S tier. Quit moving the mouse. Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot that when I do it, it takes the mouse away from you.
So, it did have a few, I think it had like 1 or 2 Bad Meets Evil songs on it, and then the Eminem solo songs on it, like the opener, Shady 15, the song Shady 15, were like the beginning of his like really, not the beginning, but like a lot more emphasis on his like really fast rap, sort of really hard to understand, sort of hyper rap, I guess. And then a few years later, we got Revival.
And I was looking at the track listing for Revival, and I know none of this album.
All right.
I know nothing.
I don't want to be too harsh. I don't want to. All right, let's put it up here for right now. Yeah, I don't want to be too harsh on Revival. Let's talk about it for a minute.
Okay, it exists.
Everyone is harsh.
Wait, you put it in the S tier?
No, it's staying there for a moment. It's holding there for a moment. Let's give the benefit of the doubt. Let's go through the checklist real quick.
It has ascended into the heavens.
I'm not gonna shit on it. Bring it back. I can't see what it's doing.
I'm trying to bring it back.
Okay, leave it there. Okay. Stop messing with it. All right.
But
I'll just go through the checklist. I'll just say good or bad for the songs. Walk on Water, good, despite all the overt criticism by like everybody, including like Joe Budden and Tyler the Creator. Everybody hated the song, but it's good. It's different. Believe. I like Believe.
Is this, do you believe in life after love? After love? After love?
No.
I really don't think you're strong. Okay, I'll stop.
Chloroseptic is terrible. Untouchable.
It looks like it would be.
Yeah, no, the song Chloroseptic. I'm just going to the checklist real quick. Chloroseptic is terrible. Untouchable is, it's good intentions, bad execution. River, good intentions, decent execution, but a bit boring, I guess. Remind Me, boring. Like Home, boring. Bad Husband, terrible. Tragic Endings, decent. Framed, a lot of people would like Framed. I hate Framed. Framed is terrible. Nowhere Fast, is great. Good to great. Heat, I don't remember Heat. I think maybe so. If it's not memorable to me, I don't like it. Offended, don't like it. Need Me is terrible. Need Me is basically a Pink song featuring Eminem. In Your Head is terrible. Castle and a Rose are masterpieces. So all around, I would say this was probably.
That sounded C. Oh, you're putting D. Descending into the D. Oh,
I just don't want to be as harsh on it as everyone else is. I really just don't.
Oh yeah.
When I get in, if I get into a specific mood, I can listen to it all the way through. Otherwise, there are certain songs that, like, very few, but a few songs I will just pick out and enjoy them. But the rest of them, when they say it's his worst album, it's probably pretty true. In fact, it is worse than Encore, in all honesty. So I have to do this. I'm sorry. I know it's like it is worse than Encore. But then Kamikaze came out. Kamikaze is an easy A. It is amazing. The only bad thing about Kamikaze is Venom with its annoying hook. I know Venom is very popular, but it has a really freaking annoying hook. And the one of the two songs with Jesse Reyes, Nice Guy. That song is fucking annoying. Do you know anything about this album?
I know one thing about this album that I was like, come on, dude. Using the F slur.
Yeah, but he censored it. This is that growth we were talking about.
Yeah, but he still said it.
He did say it, but then later on, and he was talking about
it's like it's growth, and then it's like, well, you didn't grow enough. You should have known better. This is like Beyonce using words that she shouldn't have said in albums, but we'll get to that. If you know, it's the Lizzo Beyonce using the same word in an album, and then having to edit it because it's like, oh yeah, shouldn't be using that word.
If we ever get around to talking about Beyonce, we can discuss that.
Yeah, but it's that idea of like, you should know better in 2018, that you should not be saying that because of how dangerous this is. Like what it does is this is the thing about slurs a lot of times is when the slurs hurt people and they're attacking people for being different. That's a problem, and we've learned a lot better from that. Obviously, he did it in Slim Shady LP, and he did it in Marshall Mathers LP, but there was a different time. We've learned a lot since 2000. And that was the one thing I remember from Kamikaze. That was the only thing I remember from Kamikaze.
It's unfortunate that's the only thing you can remember from Kamikaze, because the rest of the album is pretty outstanding.
Yeah, but that just shows you like one mistake can really sour an album for a group of people.
It also shows you that humans have a tendency to focus on the negative and not on the positive.
I think, but I think sometimes the negative, there are certain things that you just, dude, don't do that. Yeah. Like, you're going after a group of people.
I mean, he's specifically referencing Tyler, the Creator, in response to Tyler's response to Kamikaze. So the line itself is simply referencing Tyler, the Creator. It's not referencing all people of that description. So but he did censor it, so not to defend him, but the rest of the album is amazing. So.
It's one of those things where one little mistake, somebody should have caught that and nobody did, and it does leave a sour taste. Somebody should have.
They caught it and they censored it. So okay, let's move on to Music to Be Murdered By. Do you have any thoughts on Music to Be Murdered By?
I feel like I should. I'm trying to think if I know any of this.
I know you've listened to it. We've talked about you listening to it before.
Yeah. What is the song that I know on this? Tell me a song I know on this album.
Godzilla, Darkness. I don't know what other songs you might know on it, honestly.
What is Godzilla about? I can't remember.
Godzilla's the one with Juice WRLD. Like, it's extremely popular.
Like,
it's literally one of his biggest hits of recent years. It has one of the fastest verses like ever recorded at the end of it. I think it's
that's right. Records. Okay, I know what Godzilla is. Yes.
Yeah. So, I'm looking at the track list right now. I'm having trouble kind of thinking about where to place it. I think it's A, honestly.
Oh, okay, yeah. In Darkness, I do know that song because I know that music video, which is a very
Yeah.
it's I'm not gonna say it's a bad music video. I'm saying it was a choice that was only Eminem would try.
I think it worked. I think the message gets across. But
I think it can be a very important. If you don't know what we're talking about,
just look up the music video.
Yeah, look up the music video. If you don't want to look up, we'll give you a pause here. We're going to talk about it for about 10 seconds.
Okay.
Maybe 20. So skip ahead 20 seconds. Music video is he is being the shooter in the Las Vegas shootings.
But basically, also he's being himself, preparing for a concert.
Yeah, so it's kind of, it gets into that.
The whole song is a double entendre. Like the whole song is genius. Just the way that it's put together, the way it's written, the way you don't like I remember the first time I listened to it, the first time I saw the music video, I thought he was like, up until the point where he talks about grabbing the scope, I thought he was talking about himself preparing to like go out on stage. And he's talking about the scope and you hear the little gun click in the back. Like, oh, this is about something different, but also not. So it's the whole song is just it's a masterpiece. And if you don't understand it, you have to watch the music video, I guess. Yeah.
And it gets into issues that are very American.
They are. Yeah.
And he doesn't a lot of times get into the political realm in his songs, but when he does, he goes hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. And sometimes he does well, like with Darkness or with Mosh, and then other times, like with Untouchable, it doesn't really work out as well as we would like. And then there's all right, so we can talk about the rest of the album real quick. I'm just gonna run through the tracks here real quick and
run through them.
All right.
Sorry.
You're gonna learn every song in here with Royce. There's like 3 songs in here with Royce. There's You're Gonna Learn, there's Ya Ya, and there's I Will. All those are awesome. He always does well whenever he's with Royce. I think it's the competition thing. And then Black Thought is on Ya Ya. So is Q-Tip, and I think Busta Rhymes is on Ya Ya as well. But I think Busta doesn't have a verse though. I think he just does the hook. And then Leaving Heaven is not as great. Neither is Those Kind of Nights, not as great. In Too Deep is not that great. Stepdad kind of sucks. I don't really like Marsh that much. Never Love Again I don't like that much. Little Engine, no. Lock It Up is okay. Farewell, I do not like Farewell. I do not know why he put that on Curtain Call 2. I have no idea why he put Farewell on Curtain Call 2 at the very end. It has nothing to do with like him like leaving or saying goodbye. It is not at all what it's talking about. And he put it at the end. I don't understand it. So actually, I don't
Adam's
think
mad.
I'm not mad. I just don't understand why he would choose that as the closing song to his second greatest album. There are so many better choices. I Will is like 5-star, excellent. So yeah, I think maybe it's probably a B. I was gonna put it as A, but then I'm looking through the track list and I'm like, yeah, maybe not an A. Then you get side B. Let me look at side B real quick just to refresh my memory.
I know nothing about side B.
I'll just go through it real quick. Black Magic's pretty good. Tone Deaf's pretty good. Book of Rhymes is awesome, although it could have used more DJ Premier. DJ Premier, so he brought on DJ Premier for the first time he's ever collaborated with DJ Premier, aside from like on a remix of a Royce da 5'9" song called Writer's Block. He brought on DJ Premier on this song, and the only thing DJ Premier did was the scratches on the hook. Like that's it. If you, I long for the day that he is on, fully on a DJ Premier produced song, because Premier is one of the best producers of all time. Favorite Bitch, I don't remember that song. Guns Blazing, it's okay. Nat's pretty good. Higher is okay. Looking at the rest of these, Killer's okay. Yeah.
My favorite song on this list, Discombobulated is a cool word. I don't know if it's a good song though.
Discombobulated sounds like a Relapse song.
No, so it's a terrible song, but it's a cool one.
It sounds like I could just slide straight onto the relapse track list.
So,
it's pretty good.
That's our list, and
that's an hour and 11 minutes of us talking about Eminem's discography.
And the joke is, this is all reversed. Revival's the greatest song of all greatest album of all time. We tricked you. Screw you, Slim Shady LP.
I don't know. I'm looking at this. I'm wondering if I did everything justice. If I got everything right.
This is not a great bell curve.
I mean, everything's at least a B. So, for being my favorite rapper of all time, yeah.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, just double checking that I counted that right earlier. So we have 20 albums on here of various degrees.
Are you about to do some math?
Yes, we're about to do some math. So the S tier takes up 20%. The A tier takes up 25%. The B tier takes up, oh shoot, it has to be, how many is that? 7? 7 over 20? Oh crap. 35%. Oh, the A tier does not take up 25%. I miscounted. Let's try that again. The S tier takes up 20%. The A tier takes up 30%. The B tier takes up 35%. The C tier takes up 10%. And the D tier takes up 5%. Of his full-length released albums, 4 are on the S tier. Only the main albums. On the A tier, we have 2, right? Recovery and Kamikaze.
Yeah.
On the B tier, we have 2 with
2, really. Yeah.
Yeah, Relapse and Music to Be Murdered By. On the C tier, we have Encore.
And Infinite. Oh,
and Infinite. I forgot. And then on the C tier, we have Encore, and on the D with 1, and on the D tier, we have Revival with 1.
Yep. So, I mean, this is really mostly my opinion with your input, more or less.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I don't have much to say. I said basically everything is below S tier except for Marshall Mathers LP. But I do, and that's maybe because where I was at the time where I first heard the Marshall Mathers LP and just what it means then. Is it the best? Is it his best album today? Like, if I listen to it now, would I think, oh, this is a great album? Probably not as much. I wouldn't think of it as good as I did back then. Because again, the problem with albums is they're a product of their time, and it's hard to understand them outside that context. It's really hard to understand the album if you're not in the world the album came out, because some of those things hit much differently when you're living in that world. And how in the Marshall Mathers LP had a lot of references to Columbine, but
they were censored references.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, in general, just thinking about like talking
the time frame.
Yeah, where and you can almost see him trying to figure out, what is my job? Because obviously he doesn't want things like Columbine to happen.
Right.
But he's also trying to say, like, whose responsibility is it? And I feel like there is a question in that album. Like, he's trying to figure it out. He's like, I'm pretty sure it's not on me, but
yeah,
this is not good. And I think everybody at the time, every musician at the time who's getting blamed was like, this isn't good. I don't think it's my fault, but
but I'm getting blamed for it, like Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, and it's like,
yeah,
it's like, what is going on? And I'm sure inside, I don't know if he's ever talked about this. I wonder if he ever actually thought, am I at fault? Because you got to think, if everyone's saying you're at fault, at one point you're like, is it me? Did I do this?
I don't
because I would start questioning myself, like, and I mean, he's probably got people around saying, no, you're doing okay, but you got to think just at the end of the day, you're like, did I do something wrong? Because you don't want to be that person who did something wrong. That's just a thought. I don't know. Maybe he didn't think that, but I wouldn't be shocked if there was not some worry in the back of his mind.
All right, well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up there. Please don't move the in.pencil logo. The in.pencil logo is sacred. Please don't move the in.pencil logo.
It's a C tier.
No,
in.pencil is C tier.
The in.pencil.
Not the logo. The logo is S tier. In.pencil in general may be C tier.
Hey, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
But, that actually looks really cool where it is right there. Oh man, you moved it.
It's the Control Z button.
I know.
Right. We're done here. If you stuck around for an hour and 20 minutes to listen to us talk about Eminem's discography, thank you very much. We'll send you if you leave a comment saying something nice, we'll send you $1 or something.
No, we will not.
Oh no, we won't. It's false.
Do not say that. Do not say that.
Okay,
that
we'll
is also possibly not. I don't know if that's illegal to say. I think that's illegal. That might be illegal.
No, we have to do something. We have to do something for you. We'll like your comment if you comment something down below. How about that?
If you comment something down the road that's not like offensive.
Oh yeah.
Let's be honest here. We're not gonna like you if you're like,
I will delete your comment.
Yeah, we will.
Comment. I believe
or
it's
YouTube. YouTube might delete this comment. Sorry, some things just do need to be censored.
Yep.
No offense.
More on that in our Twitter discussion on our podcast. Thanks for listening.
Yes. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like and maybe a comment. Tell us what your favorite. What are your Eminem S tier albums?
Yeah.
And maybe you have 20. Or maybe you're including albums we didn't discuss on here that you think should have been discussed and where you would place them.
Yeah. And then, check us out later for a revisit of our Jars of Clay and Reliant K rankings in this format as opposed to our podcast format we did a couple years ago.
And those are ones I can help out with. And also join us later for a Blink 182 strange ranking that we're going to do.
Yes. And also we'll have to re-rank all the Blink 182 and Angel and Airwaves albums because they both released new albums since then.
New Music Monday. It's Tuesday. Tuesday's New Music Tuesday. New music comes out on Tuesday. Or used to. Now it comes out on Friday. Anyway.
Right. All right. I think we've completely gone off the rails here.
Off the rails. I don't know if this is actually makes the video cool. Thanks for staying to the end.
Yeah.
I've been Jess.
I've been Adam. God bless or whatever.